Hello everyone, it is Schmidt Dude and welcome back. Now today we're going to talk about reinforcing your base further, but this time using stone. At first you'll be using wood for a lot of your building, but once you unlock the stone cutter, which is this right here, you'll be able to start building stone pieces, which can reinforce your base much further. So let's go ahead and talk about these stone pieces that you can create. So when you do finally unlock stone, you'll be able to unlock a bunch of different stone items. You'll be able to unlock a stone wall 2x1, a stone wall 4x2, stone pillars, stone arch, stone floors, and then also stone stairs. This is what they look like all together. This is a single 1x1. This is a 2x1. It's basically kind of like a half wall. This is a full wall. It's a 4x2. You've got these stone pillars, which are 2 blocks up. You have these stone archways, stone floors, which are a 2x2 floor, and then these stone stairs. Those are the choices you have with stone pieces. So the way to think about stone pieces is that they act like the ground when adding wooden pieces to them. What I mean by that is when you have a wooden piece, when you build it, if it is connecting to the ground, then it is a foundational piece. It is blue, which means that then you can connect a bunch of other pieces on top of it or to the sides or whatever you're doing, and this piece will be your grounding piece to connect to the ground. And the best part is, with stone pieces, if you were to connect a piece to the stone, for example to this wall here, you'll see it doesn't go green like you normally would if I were to connect it up to a wall here. You see, because this would be our foundational piece, and this green piece now is one piece away from the foundational piece. It's connected to the foundational piece. But when you connect wooden pieces to stone, it's almost as if they treat the stone as part of the ground. So now this becomes the foundational piece, and then you can build on from there. So that is one key feature that stone does, is that it allows you to kind of go one step further with your building by extending where the foundational pieces begin. Most of the time, if for example with my house over there, if you're just building with wood, your foundational pieces will always start by touching the ground. But now that you have stone, whatever is touching the stone becomes your foundational piece. So let's do a quick example here. What I can do here is I have my foundational piece, which is the stone wall. And then I can, for whatever reason, let's say you guys are building a wooden floor that hangs for a certain distance away from the wall. Now after a while, you'll notice that you'll start breaking the pieces because, well, you just haven't got enough structural stability. So here we'd be able to build 1, 2, 3, 4 walls across, or 4 floors across, sorry, before it starts breaking. Now if I were to build 2 stone pillars here, what I'm doing now is I'm actually extending the floor through the stone pillars. Now don't mind that this is green, because what happens is, because your wood floor, sorry, is now connected to the stone pillar, this wood piece here becomes our new foundational piece. We no longer worry about these pieces here. Now these two are both foundational pieces because they're connected to it, but really everything is built off here. So instead of our 4 pieces, what we can do is actually extend it one more further out, and you see it doesn't break because we've extended our foundation from here onwards, as opposed to counting from the wood wall. Now the next thing you can do is actually use stone arches to help you. Now the thing you have to remember with stone arches is that by themselves, stone arches don't connect to wood pieces. They're simply too heavy, made out of stone obviously, and they won't connect. So what you will have to do is have a stone pillar or a stone wall or whatever you have, something stone, and in that way when you connect it, it'll stay on there. Now the interesting thing with stone arches is that they extend not only vertically with the stone pillars, the foundational piece, but also extends horizontally. So instead of this piece being the foundational piece now, because we have the stone arch, this piece is now our foundational piece. It's almost as if it was connected to the ground, but it is kind of, because it's connected through the stone pillar up to the stone arch. So we can start counting from here. So now you remember, we used to only be able to do 4 pieces without these stone pillars and the stone arches. But with these stone pillars plus the stone arch, I should be able to do 5 and then 6. So you can extend it much further by just using these stone pieces to reinforce it. Really here, I actually don't need these stone walls here. I could basically just use these stone pillars and the stone arch to support the entire structure. So that's essentially how you use stone pieces to reinforce your base further, by using them to extend your foundational pieces further down. One thing to note when building with stone is that these stone floors don't actually improve your structures any further. What the other ones do, such as these stone walls and these stone pillars, they will allow you to extend your foundation further. However, these stone floors do not, as you're still starting your foundation from wherever you are. So for example here, this wood wall is down to the ground, so it's still considered the foundational piece. This wood wall here is also down to the stone floor, so this is also the foundational piece. So it doesn't actually buff the wood walls, if that makes sense, and make them any stronger. It just alters where your foundational piece starts. Now, since our stone floor is at the same level as the actual ground, this means that we're pretty much building the same distance all the way up. You can see just by itself connected to the floor, I can build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 walls high just by connecting it down to the ground. With the stone floor, same thing. It's also 8 walls high, and you'll notice the deterioration rate is the same going across, and it goes all the way up to red there before it breaks. So stone floors don't necessarily make your building any stronger. Now I'll have to do a bit more testing with this. I don't know why you would use stone floors other than, I guess, aesthetic reasons. If you guys do know how we could use stone floors more effectively to increase the integrity, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. So that's it, guys, and that's kind of how you generally want to use stone to reinforce your base. I personally much prefer the wood sort of aesthetic and look to it, so I don't know if I'll be using the stone very much on my base, but maybe this might inspire you to use some stone and reinforce your base that way as well. If you have any other ways that you could use stone, any other innovative ways that I may not have talked about here, go ahead and leave them in the comments below so we can help other people as well. As always, my name is Schmitty. I'll see you guys next time.